And so the quest to control the cat continues. Yet another cardboard template, this time to try to just prevent her going through this way. Probably won't completely, because there is ways and means, but hey, she's a cat and she's an inquisitive one. And on the starboard side it's a little winglet that we'll make. There's the cat we're trying to control, and just behind her is a piece of leftover perspex that I had from when I made the aft door nearly 2 years ago, and that has just got enough material to cut that piece out of. And so there we are. That's just a little piece of a perspex shield that should just block a little gap off, and we've put a couple of curves in just to again strengthen it and protect the canvas. And it's time of projects again. Next one is just doing a little bit of tidying up in the engine bay with my pumps, auxiliary pumps. So a rough sketch of what we're intending. That's an oil pump. So that's the pump that oscillating pump that we use to withdraw the oil, and is what I've been using for my auxiliary pump for the fuel. So starboard engine, port engine, oil outlet, up to a Y valve with close-offs, so we can shut off either side, into the pump, then out to drain, out to tank. But I hear you say, what about your fuel system? Because you do use that auxiliary pump for fuel. Well, I've ordered a second fuel pump, a second auxiliary pump. So we've got our starboard fuel tank, port fuel tank, starboard raycore, port raycore. Outfeed from there will go to a Y valve with shut-offs, so that'll be normally closed. Another Y valve here before the auxiliary fuel, normally closed. This side will be normally open for running to the starboard engine, and similarly this side normally open for the port engine. And these doubly shut before it goes to the auxiliary fuel, so we can pump it out to a container or put it back into the return for either tank. So we can actually run continuous fuel polishing if we needed. Whilst we sat somewhere, we can just take the return off and go straight back to tank. So that's the plan. Sorry, but the halyards might be banging on the yachts near us. Next stage of our changes, a new panel there, big one. That's to replace the door, because our little kit squeezes out underneath that door. So it's just a copy but bigger. We have to do, it's very simple. And then a piece behind, which is bigger than you think, but that will go where that cardboard template is. And so we're going to put two curves, one at the bottom, which will be deflecting out of the boat for any rain, and one up at the top to deflect inwards, just to take the top away from the canvas. There we are. With Janet's help, we managed to get that curve on the bottom. We'll leave the top for now. What we've got to do now is start working out where the notches go and fit that into position.
So they want them completely off?
Yep, this should be the satisfying moment to take the cover, all the protective cover off, and see if it's gone right, or you find it's gone wrong. It looks all right. Yep, we've not overcut that curve.
This side's still warm.
Yeah. And that top looks okay as well.
Good door making.
Perspex doors. Perspex doors are us. Yeah, look, that looks... Can't see it, it's so good.
There you go.
And yep, that'll be good. And that's the new door fitted. So we've used all original fitments, all the fitments we had on before, and we've got just a curve in at the top and a curve out at the bottom, and the gap is now tight enough to stop little miss squeezing out from underneath. Well, that one's been challenging. We've got screen on there. Had a real problem trying to sort the mountings out. Just got very little brackets onto the main superstructure, but what I couldn't do, I made some brackets for this, what I couldn't do was drill through these stainless steel rails. These rails are tough. They're a lot tougher than the others. Don't quite understand it, just could not get a hole. I was just going to rivet the brackets onto there. Luckily, I had a spare clamp just the right size, and what we've done, we've managed to clamp the perspex with some neoprene between that and tighten that up, and that's done the trick. Actually, it looks quite neat, but wow. So there we've got the oil discharge pump sorted out. So there we've got the diverter valve, so starboard and port, normally closed. Just need to open those one at a time, depending which engine we want to draw from. Obviously keep those shut at all times. Do not operate this pump whilst the engines are running, and the discharge line needs to be put into our waste oil container before we start up. So on our Volvo engines there is a draw-off pipe which is down there. It's very easy to draw the oil out when the oil is nice and hot. So what we've got to work out next is the fuel auxiliary pump. I've got the pump, just not sure where to fit it and how to install it at this point. Whilst that Y valve is okay for hot oil, I'm just not sure about its ability for the flow rate for fuel. Because whilst they are 10mm connections, the hole through the valve itself is very small, so that will cause a restriction which we do not want. So I think we've got to think again about what sort of valves we use, or if we do carry on with that project, I'll just fit an auxiliary pump like I had before. So we've got a beautiful Thursday morning. Blue skies, a little bit cool. We're just making our preps to go down to Spurn for the day. We should leave here around about 10 AM and be back up here around about 18:30, I think. It does sound busy out in the Humber though, lots of traffic moving. So there we're out, heading east-ish, out to Spurn Point. So we're now down at Spurn Head. That was a nice run, a little bit chilly today, and it got a little bit wet towards the end, and it took us a couple of attempts to set the anchor this time. which is unusual with this Delta.
Hull Marina, Ava Grace, over. Yeah, Hull Marina, we're just passing the bit of Hull. I think I'm looking. Ryan, over. Okay, over to you. Gates are open. Gates are open. Yeah.
So we came back in yesterday afternoon about bang on schedule, 18:30. Decided to have a change of scenery. We came in bow first, mainly because got a little problem with the anchor, which I'll show you shortly. So we wanted to resolve that. We need to give Ava a good wash. Even though it was calm, we got plastered. again. And we've got all the hoods and everything else to put back on. And seemed to have a little bit of an issue with the bow thruster. When we came back into the lock, it didn't seem to be functioning quite correctly from up here. I've tried it down below and it seems to work okay down below, so I think it's a slight electrical problem that we've got up in on the upper helm. Coupled with that, another slight problem with the port gearbox. We've had this issue for quite some time. When it gets hot, after running for a protracted period of time, you take it out of gear into neutral, it does not want to immediately re-engage forward. It will re-engage reverse, and so you've got to give it a little bit of a nudge on the throttle. So that we had to give it a nudge to get back out of the lock okay. Then it's all right again. So I think it's cable adjustment, but it's a strange linkage because the upper helm goes down to the lower helm and that then goes onto the gearbox. So you've got two cables, two junctions, two levers, all sorts of things to sort out. So our bow thruster control is there. Oh, it's working now. And it's working fine. So it must have just decided, I don't want to do it. There you go, it's a boat. Problem is that had got snagged up there and jammed, and it keeps jamming. That's because we've got this swivel plus a shackle. Now I can't put a bigger shackle on because the next size shackle jams in there. So and I can't really, I'm not going to open that out with a shackle. So what I'm going to do, and it's not recommended, I'm told. Now somebody will correct me, or somebody will say what you've done is entirely wrong. Anyway, let's go for it. And that is, I'm just going to take the shackle out and put the swivel straight to the anchor. We'll try that and see if that works. So we've just reset the swivel straight onto the anchor. Tell me it's wrong. Please tell me it's wrong, or tell me it's right. It seems to be designed for it. That's the thing. Maybe we should have a shackle there. But that, I've just got to take that shackle off. That's well and truly Loctited in position. So I've just re-Loctited that one in. So I've just got to break that seal on that one with something a bit heavier than pliers. And then the anchor can go back up. So we've come up with a bit better solution, which is to use a long shackle. That way it doesn't jam onto the top of the anchor shank and then to the swivel before it goes to the chain. And that way we've got sideways movement. I knew the other way was wrong, and I didn't want to risk snapping the shackle or snapping the swivel.
So yeah, I am at this time now, I am at the University of Hull, and I'm on a film making course. An area of my course is about art in Hull. I love this place, I love Hull Marina. I'm here pretty much all the time, so I love this place and I was like, right, I want to get Hull Marina on the screen. So that's what our aim is.